Alright, you guys, we're going to go over AMD trades today. I took a total of 3 trades. One right at the open, close to the open, probably like 15 minutes prior to open. And then the rest, I was just looking at patterns just to get more confirmation, because obviously the market is choppy and we have earnings coming up. So today I'm going to show you guys what I did on AMD. So on AMD so far, you can see that we're on a downtrend, right? It's breaking. We're still going in an uptrend because so far it hasn't broke out. We still have this level here. This is one of the little micro uptrends that we have, and also you still have this position here, right? So far I'm guiding myself through this big range and the levels on top. So we could see that it rejected clearly at 91.53, which we still have a gap up to fill at 94.75. There's a little gap up here, not too crazy, around this section. That's the little gap up that we're missing. It rejected the gap up, and we still have another bounce area here at 97.85, and that's where I have my level. So far I noticed that it broke down. It breaks below 87.85. I was gonna go to puts, and it did drop down the day before, which is the 25th. So what I do here is that I basically check on the 1 hour to see what's going on. You can see that AMD yesterday did a little nice rally right at the end of the day. Right here, this is the low of the day. It did a nice little rally to the top side, and it rejected 87.82 right after hours and ended up bringing the market down. So for me, my next range would have been 85.62. That was my support that it had on AMD. Also, this is the high of the range between 87.85 and 85.62. And this is what I had told my Discord, that there's a resistance at 87.85 and a nice support at 85.62. It might consolidate there, yes or no, but we wanted to take trades inside and not be just waiting for the market to break this range, right? So what I do from here on is I check the 15 minute, and I could see that on 15. You could see that on pre-market, it was, I always get the pre-market low and the pre-market high, which was already done. And my entry for AMD was below 86.72, correct? So what I did was that I saw on the 5 minute that it wasn't even doing anything. It was just chopping around this area on the 5 minute for that level of 86.72. And also you can see that it dropped down on this side, right? So what I ended up doing was that I waited. I wanted to see what's going on. Obviously with the EMAs turned on. Let me turn on the EMA. This is the 9 EMA, and if you want, I'll put on the 21. I personally don't use none of these. I use the 15. So I have my 15 EMA, and you can see on the 15 EMA it was chopping around, right? It chopped around. So as soon as I saw that it was losing momentum off AMD, and also QQ was dropping down, QQQ at the same day, well today obviously, it was dropping down. Like we go to QQ really fast, you can see that it was dropping at the same time. Did kind of the same formation that AMD did, and they were both going congruent, almost to the same chart. Look, it was the same thing, almost equal. So what I ended up doing was that I waited on the 5 minute. I was looking at the 5 minute. I kept checking. I waited patiently. You know, I waited all this chop. I did want to get calls around this section, but my perfect place to get calls, it broke this resistance, which was yesterday's little bullish breakout, supposedly little fake out right here. Not a breakout, my bad, I meant to say fake out. You can see that it didn't go through. So now obviously on the same day today, it was trying to bump up, and I saw the futures were like in the mid-range. You can see it was just going up and down. Futures weren't moving. It was kind of stable. So I waited. I did want to take calls here to make a quick scalp, but I just wanted to go with the trend to see if it broke 87.85. We could have taken it a little bit more higher, probably come back to retest at 91.53, or we have another level right here at 89.72, right? There's a level there. So it's most of the time I do use the orb strategy, which is the pre-market low. This is the pre-market low, right? Pre-market, tap it down so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Pre-market low. Pre-market low on SPY. I mean on AMD, on bad, I don't want to say SPY. And I already had the high here of my resistance. So this is what happened. Look, you see that it was just chopping around in the morning. It went above my EMA, but it didn't hold. It wasn't looking that strong. Also, if you turn on the volume was looking a little too weak, right? It was looking weak at this trend. Look, as soon as it gave us this green pop, it just kept dying out. Look at that big drop. So I ended up waiting, and I wanted to see what would happen if we break that pre-market low. So what it did was that, okay, it did broke, but I still didn't like it. Look at the wicks. It was looking a little weird. I like this doji, but it's still off. So what I ended up doing was that I waited for a retest, or probably just break below that level, or we might be chopping around. So I ended up watching here was that it was doing this. Before obviously this candle came in, it was doing a nice red flag movement, and that's when I came in for puts. We came in for puts. The contracts were moving nicely. We got in for this rejection. As soon as I saw the rejection coming in at 86.72 with the volume coming in higher, bearish volume coming higher than the positive volume, bullish, and then coming in, took the puts as a nice quick little scalp. Took from 86.72, took a trim here at 85.96, which is a dollar move. It was a 23% move, 15% move, quick 10-minute move. 2 candles, got out because the market is really choppy, and I waited again and I added more here at this. I traded again at 86.38, and you can see that it rejected perfectly off the 15 EMA that I use, and it rejected the EMA perfectly. Took another trade all the way to 85.62. I started trimming here. It left the runner got stopped out because I wanted the runner to print, and the runner didn't print. Ended up moving from, I think, 0.88 to 1.34. This was the whole contract from here to there. And I saw another entry also. This was one entry. We got in here, got out, got in here, trimmed. So basically entry, exit, then we entered again one more time, entry again, we exit right there, trim on this side, and at the end our runner got stopped out once it came in here. This was our stop loss. So what I ended up watching was that I waited till the end of the day, and I caught the AMD again for puts, and you can see the same thing. EMA rejection with another micro little bear flag on this side. I took the trade. Usually you get the pole extension from and measure it to the end, and that's the movement, and you can see that which ended up getting out of here. 84.85. There was a bunch of trades on AMD, 3 trades there to there. You can see the R&R drop again. We made it. There was my stop loss, really tight stop loss. We entered again for a second position, and there you go. And then another one here. See, 3 entries. Just waited for it to come to me. Super simple. Obviously it was a whole day trading, but it was fine. I just waited. I had alerts, and look how that 85.62 is at. So far now, what you want to see on AMD is that if it holds that 85.62, it'll try to come back up to 86.70, back to our pre-market, or we could get our, we need to check on the after when the market opens tomorrow to see what it does. If I see that it's trying to reject that 86.72, it might just be a little retracement just for you to enter puts again and bring it back down to maybe another bigger flush, right? So far the 1 hour, let's check it out. Might as well see what AMD is trying to do. 1 hour doesn't look that bad. Possible breakout. Look, breakout above this level, exactly the one that I told you, 87.62. We have another trim at 87.83. Safer. There's all my targets. So it has to hold that 86.72 to come back up to 87. Profit target. Have all these targets here. Not too crazy. Possible big breakout if AMD goes good. We're making it not too glittery on this side. I'll just probably leave this one out. Have an empty volume between 88.51 to 90.72 and guide myself using the EMAs. But so far it does look really good. I do like it. It looks good, really bullish for the breakout. Look, we have it to the end. Our target will be, max target will be here. Max target will be 90.73. If it breaks, that will be it. 90.73 above. If it holds, it wanted to hold, remember, you want the ship to hold 86.72. You want it to be on top of here. If it goes down, it's going to try to come back down. Doesn't matter what it does here. You want it to hold and then break these 2 levels, because this is the level that I didn't break out. So these are pretty critical also, but these are exactly the game plan, what I see as of tomorrow. Be careful on these areas. Super safe entry 88.51, but like I said, I like the risk to reward, especially here, especially this pattern. You enter there, look, you still have all this. You will never lose unless you break out on that section of 88.72. You enter here, you can still hold it, trim at 87.85 if you see that it's looking really good with tech running. 88.51, go all the way to 90.73, and possible. We could probably check and say that if we're really bearish on the market, also one of these, look, see, double top, and then flush on Friday and wait for the news, because we got GDP release, the economic data, look, possible chance. Maybe they'll take, the buyers will come in and just settle into whatever they want, and from there on maybe just dump it. I'm expecting a bad release and then just dump it, and it'll just come back down straight to shit. So that's basically my AMD, why I got in. Not too complicated so far. I'm looking at how it looks. I like it. You saw what I'm going to look for, the bounce at 86.72. I wanted to hold that price, and from there we just take it. Look at the risk to reward that I have. It's not that bad. It's really good. Because back down, you know, it's going to try to chop around this area. But we should be set. Look at the scenario. We might just do this, hit that 80.73 and go back to shit. If not, just break out and keep going higher and higher and higher. Alright, you guys, that's the recap for AMD, and I just gave you guys what I'm looking for AMD tomorrow for a play. Behold, especially with those Microsoft earnings that did good today. And yeah, those are the levels. I'll post them up also on my Twitter and my Instagram so you guys can see what I'm looking at. And thanks for watching. And fucking don't trade too heavy because the market is crazy right now.